truck right now?
So this thing came in with a bad water pump. Uh, it's definitely recognizable from the coolant that was leaking and the noise it was making. Most of the noise it was making was squealing noise. That's just from the coolant coming from the bottom side of it and leaking out. Most water pumps, when the bearings start to go bad, they'll start to leak. There's a sign that the bearing is bad. There's some sort of membrane in there. When that bearing goes bad, it allows water to bypass it, and that's when you know your water pump is bad. Either that, you can just listen for the audible sound of screeching or a grinding noise. I mean, I've seen it as worse as a belt popping off. But they got it here, and it's in the doctor's hands.
What kind of truck is this?
It's a 2012 Toyota Tundra with a 4.6 liter.
Now, for this type of job, how long does it usually take to fix? And roughly,
We usually go by a labor guide. Labor guide says it's supposed to be 4.6 hours. That's from the time of removal, install, fill it with coolant, and testing.
now, so when you wake up each day, what's your morning routine before you get to the shop?
Usually it's whatever disaster I encountered the day before, I start back on. So when I left here yesterday, I was in the process of doing this water pump, and then I realized it was the wrong one. I got sold one for a 5.7 liter Toyota engine, which is just one of the larger engines that come in these type of trucks. So yeah, trying to get in here early and get it knocked out. Really wasn't on my plan today. I thought I would have this done yesterday, but I do have a Toyota Camry 14 on the 2014 Camry on the lift that needs a what is that thing called? It is a catalytic converter. Went through some interesting processes on trying to figure out what the car needed based on the symptoms it was having, and came up with a conclusion that it needed a catalytic converter. So if I get done with this one, I'm going to check that one out and see what we got on that one. I know I'm waiting on, it should be 8 o'clock now. I have to order the catalytic converter for it. So I'm probably going to get on the phone in a quick second and order that thing in so I can go in and have it here ASAP so I can get it done and off the lift so I can go to the next vehicle.
What made you fall in love with, fixing cars, mechanics, everything like that?
I don't think it necessarily was like a love for anything. It was a necessity. Like, granted, it was a mechanic. And he got to a point where I got 16. They said, if you want anything fixed on your car, you got to figure it out yourself. Along with his help, of course, he just throw me in the pits of fire. But then I got pretty good at it, and now I do it for a living. I always knew it was gonna wind up being that way. I just kind of rebelled a little bit through my younger years. I like working at a warehouse for a few years. Well, about 13 years actually.
How did you balance working at the warehouse and running a business?
Well, good thing about when I worked at the warehouse, I moved my shift to third shift. That allowed me to get off, and I actually did a little bit of college too, like 2 years worth too. While I was doing it, um, I would do work at work, and then I would get off, probably sleep a few hours. I would say I get off at about 5, 6 in the morning, sleep to about 9, and then I work on cars until I had to be back on duty at the warehouse. Usually my clock-in time was 5 o'clock. A lot of times I stayed overtime too. So I mean, I was just trying to get it. I knew what the ultimate goal was, to use that money and to try to start a shop and get up out of working for somebody. I still work for people. I got customers, but ain't nothing like working for yourself, they say.
What was the year when you actually fully was able to get the shop and be a full-time business owner?
I didn't get in here until like 2020, actually during COVID year. Um, I quit one job and I went to work at a supervisor job in 2019, where they let me go for some reasons be known to me. But wind up suing them for that reason. Use that money also as well to start this business. So yeah, I started during COVID year, and it was actually a good year for me. Now a lot of people were at home and wasn't considered essential. I was definitely essential, and most of my customers are essential as well. And for that, I was able to get it here and get it in first year.
What would you say is the worst part of being a mechanic?
Well, I have to keep two phones because people don't necessarily know how to understand what a work-life balance is. So I have to have my personal phone and my work phone, and I typically leave my work phone up here. I went from a cell phone to actual landline. It's just a lot more easier, better to communicate with customers. And then that's the difference between me and some of these other places. Like you're not only just talking to the owner, you're talking to the mechanics who'll be working on your car as well. So I would say that's probably about the hardest thing for me to just I had to get another phone. I had to leave it up here so I can be able to still experience life with everybody else when they get off from work and I have calls in the middle of the day or middle of the night needing their car fixed.
What would you say is the most rewarding part about being a mechanic?
I would say some of the customers that have went to other places and had bad experiences. I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to bring back to the truthfulness to this whole mechanics world, because we're not always lying. A lot of times, I can point out any car, whether it's a 2023 to a 06. It's always going to have some type of problems. These manufacturers did this for a reason. I mean, it's for the continuous money to be made always on a car. I'll tell you right now, I'm putting this belt on wrong. I have this bad thing about wanting to figure out how to put a belt on without actually looking at the diagram and see if I can remember, since I've done so many. So it might be some times where I go through this thing a few times until I either get it right or I go pull up the diagram. Try not to pull out the diagram because I like challenging myself, because at this point it's not a lot of challenges anymore. It's just nuts and bolts. Let's see if I can figure it out. Plus I got one of these trucks on my own and they're pretty similar. So I should be able to figure this one out. Some cars is just impossible. That and they don't make it easy with these belts, I swear. Belts don't want to stay on in places. I think I about got it. I think it goes around this tensioner pulley, back down to the alternator, and that it does. Alright, so let me get some tools to put that belt on. Alright.
This is good stuff, also. Very good stuff.
Hell yeah. It's gotta go around here. It's gotta go around here.
You talk about work-life balance. How do you balance that out?
I'm tell you what, it's tough because me, I'm a go-getter, man. Like I get a call, I want to work on everything, right? And I necessarily can't. And a lot of people are like, oh, you can hire somebody and stuff like that. I don't know. It's like this unique feeling that I'm trying to give the customers to, like, somebody that actually working on your car really cares. I don't necessarily want to get somebody in here that isn't going to focus on their vehicle, much like I would, like it was my own. And it's just kind of hard to get somebody else to reciprocate that. I've only tried it 2 times. I haven't tried it anymore since then. But I don't know. It's just, I'm a go-getter, man. Like especially around these tax time seasons with people that need things. And then, I mean, cars break down all the time, and I want to be there for it.
When it comes to support, when you started this, talk about family support.
Well, I would say this. One of my biggest supporters, and when he's dead and gone now, was my grandfather. Like, I mean, he pretty much was like Jesus to me. He taught me how to fish, and this is it. So that's like number one supporter. My mom would be a close second because she's in here every day, at least Monday through Friday. She gets here at 10 usually, and she comes in and handles the office stuff for me. It's not too much to do in the office for the most part because I do handle a lot of stuff. But yeah, she comes in and she helps me out a lot. My other two siblings, and I do their work and stuff like that, and they always likes my posts and stuff like that, and sometimes even shares it on the internet or on social media, which is always a good thing. So I would say I'm definitely supported. Plus, I mean, they need their cars fixed. That's what I'm here for.
I can say also your friends support you too, so.
They do, but you said fam. So, I mean, I would love to include my closest friends, my circle, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to definitely include them as fam as well, because I'm here for it. I mean, just like right now, this is Nathan's truck. This is one of his money makers. So here y'all for it, for supporting his business as well. Shout out to Nathan and Presto Plumbing. You know when you see that little duck, and we ain't talking about Jeeps, ducks on Jeep dashes. Somebody explain that to me. I say they're buying them. Nobody trading those damn things. You can get them a whole pack of them on Amazon. Anyway, on a tangent.
When you're not here, what do you enjoy doing the most?
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you right now. You wouldn't believe it or not, I'm a big raver now. Love going to raves. I enjoy the energy from the younger generation to a lot of bleep blops and nonsense noise. I quite enjoy it. Go to festivals quite often. And I mean, I don't necessarily travel by plane all the time, but I'm always doing something like every month. This place is great, but sometimes it's good to be able to leave it and go do other stuff. I put in a lot of hours sometimes. I mean, usually I get in here like 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock. And I might work till 7, 8 o'clock at night, 5 days a week sometimes. And sometimes I come in the weekend. Like I got back from my vacation, and I've been working ever since. Got back Tuesday, and I've been working full head of steam ever since. I mean, Sundays, Saturdays. Now I'm not open those days. It's just days that I come in to try to supplement those other days that I take off. So I mean, trust me, I'm gonna be always have something to do up here. I'm always working and doing something up here. But here, it's just only been here recent that I've been kind of working weekends, because I share this parking lot with a lot of people here that's in this particular place, and I try not to keep it filled up with my cars, so that customers also can have a space to park and everything like that too. So I just try to stay on it and make sure I can get all this stuff, pretty much taken care of in a timely fashion. Let's say it's another thing. It ain't too many people that's waiting forever on their car. Now I have a few projects. It definitely has spilled over in some months. But you see those projects, you kind of figure out why. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
What's the most easiest job that you ever had as a mechanic? Do you remember?
Easiest job. I mean, it can be anything. I mean, I think essentially brakes are probably one of the easiest things to do. Most labor guys put them at an hour to do per axle. Axle is basically referring to front or rear. I mean, I would say those are probably about the easiest things. This wasn't too bad. But yeah, brakes are probably pretty easy. Tune-ups on 4 cylinders are pretty easy. A lot of times they're rated under like an hour or so to do them. And whenever you got this scanner that I have, you can go in and see what's actually wrong with it pretty fast. You can kind of figure out what's wrong with it pretty fast and fix it pretty fast. And to me, I know the customer, they need their vehicle like I need my vehicle. So I try to make sure I get it done pretty fast to accommodate them and their life goes back to normal. I mean, a lot of people, they only have one car per household. Sorry, wrong colors.
What's the toughest job you ever had?
Toughest one. I would say I got an Audi over there. It was pretty tough. Had an Audi come in with some crazy noise. Customer was attempting to repair his valve cover gaskets and valve cover, and the way those particular engines work, the valve cover gasket, or the valve cover itself kind of holds the cam inside the head. Well, it's not a kinda, it does. Most cars have bridges or some type of cap that holds the cam in, and then the valve cover goes over it. Like this, for instance, this engine has that. They do not. So when he lifted it up and realized that things were starting to move on the inside itself, he decided to put it back down and bolt it back down. But with the amount of pressure that was on the bolts that he was trying to put back in, he stripped it out and then proceeded to try to use JB Weld to fix that strip and kind of mess up the head. So I had to take the head off, replace all of that stuff. Luckily, I had another Audi I had to replace the engine in. I took the head off of that one, took it to the machine shop because it broke a few valves in the inside of the thing because the timing chain had enough and broken, kind of destroyed some things. Look, let me get my magnet. Oh God, gotta love it when you drop something. Gotta love it. Cause now I probably gotta pull this out to find it. Shit. Oh God. All right, so I do a reverse fill in these things. I do a reverse fill because it limits the amount of air that's in the system when I try to fill it back up. It makes it a whole lot easier to bleed. Because essentially this is just forcing all the air out the top of this hose. It meets the thermostat on the other side, and it just has a very small hole in that and it won't allow a lot of coolant to go past it because it's closed. So I backfill it this way to kind of shorten the time. Well, actually, it causes me not to have to bleed it at all. I'm just really checking for leaks. No leaks. You can actually kind of hear it coming up to the top. And I can see it. Okay. And now cooling's at the top. And all I do is just put it back on here. All right, let's get my clamps on before I start leaking coolant everywhere. I have something better than this right now, but I don't feel like finding it. And a lot of times I don't do internet videos. I swear, people in the comments are pissing me off. It's lots of ways to do certain things, and I have certain tools for this, certain pliers for it. And I'll probably walk over there and go right to them, but these are here, and these work just fine.
Trust me, man, I'm not even judging you.
Plus, they're Mako, if I'm not mistaken. No, my orange pairs are Mako. I forgot what pair this is, but their name brand doesn't matter. I think these are Snap-on versions. Times I get it to match the same pattern that I took it off with, the groove that I took it off with. I'm just going by what my granddaddy always told me. You put it back on the same way you got it. Something about how the pressure that's been applied to that, if you're using the same belt, the way the pressure is applied is going to go back applying that same pressure. If it's off any, it can, whatever those voids, where the gap would be at from where it's been applying pressure, will cause a leak. I don't know if that's the case. I've always done it this way. I've never had a leak, so I'm gonna just say it works. I'm talking about to do these things. I always inspect these radiator caps as well. Make sure these radiator caps, these right here, like to go bad. They'll break off and you won't have nothing at all. But this radiator cap actually looks fine. The rubber is still flexible in there. So no need to replace it. Hoses are still hard and tight, so that's the reason why I didn't replace any of that. Radiator still looks fine. I'm a big believer in if it's not broke, don't fix it. Now some will be like, hey, you need to replace all this stuff at the same time, but this radiator's fine. It doesn't look like it's about to go bad or anytime soon. I mean, hell, it's a Toyota. I got a 04 myself, and it's got like 400,000 miles. And that radiator, I think, before I had to replace it, I had like 300,000 on it before I had to replace it. I did replace it with aluminum because one thing about being a mechanic, you don't got a lot of time to fix your own car. So I made sure I got something that was pretty reliable, that I didn't have to take a lot of time off of fixing my own stuff, so I can keep the customer in mind and making sure their car gets fixed. I mean, it's not the best looking one, but it's definitely the best running one. It's probably hurt a lot of Chevy guys' feelings. I don't care. I don't care. A lot of them have good. They have good dealings with Chevy. I personally do not. They're in here all the time, like all the time. This is an old water pump I removed out of this thing, and one thing they have, and this new one has, they have this weep hole that comes out. So when this thing actually fails, you actually kind of might be able to see the wobble, but on this side probably better. I'll get this gasket out the way. But it wobbles. Yeah, that's bad. That's a bad bearing. So when the bearing lets go, water comes out through this membrane, and it comes out this hole right here, and it starts to leak. But when it gets so egregious that it's making a lot of noise and racket like this was doing, the water actually started coming out here, and you can actually see signs of where water was coming out, and just as it was spinning, the centrifugal force was just spinning it out everywhere. You can even see signs of it all up here. It would get on the belt and spray everywhere. It's pretty much where all this white residue is from. That's all coolant that comes out whenever that happens, and it just gets everywhere. All right, so one coolant down. I'll tell you what, I don't like none of this new stuff, and I mean, you hear a lot of mechanics say the exact same thing too. And I get it, it's like how we make our money and everything like that, but it's still like, when you see things that comes in here, like now, this Toyota Tundra has plastic. A lot of these cars have plastic, like intakes plastic, boxes plastic, which is fine. But for the excuse that they use, the EPA make them do it to make these cars lighter every single year is ridiculous. And the amount of plastic they're using in these new cars now, it's hard for me to really say exactly what would be a good car, but I am definitely a Toyota fan, and next to Honda. Even though Toyota now on their platforms that they have now have had a lot of recalls and probably a lot of rushed engine builds that's caused engines to fail. Chevy's right there in the same boat too. But kind of sort of Toyota's done a good job at fixing these recalls and everything like that. It's still some problems with some of the GRs, GR Corollas that's out there. Some of them catching on fire if they go over 85, which is crazy to me. So some people are having some difficulties with that, but I'm still thinking I'm gonna be a Toyota fan. It's what I see in here the least amount. Usually that's what I go by. And I have customers that own Toyotas, They just don't come here a lot.
What cars do you get the most though?
Chevys. But I mean, a lot of people do own Chevys though. But a lot of the people are having the same problems on them, whether it's a transmission, water pump. I mean, a lot of other stuff is just maintenance stuff. But like, I have a lot of transmissions jobs from Chevy jobs. Even a rear end. I just put 2 rear ends. Both of my older vehicles, I would say that they were the 04s. One's a 04, one's a 08, or 06 Avalanche. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of them are older vehicles and needing rear ends. Probably people didn't take care of them. A lot of people don't realize rear differentials have gear oil inside of them, and with that gear oil inside of them, they need to be replaced. And the frequency just depends on how hard or where they drive it, if they tow it and stuff like that. But I mean, rule of thumb, if it's not leaking, probably about every 5 years, replace that thing. I know with my 400,000 miles on my truck, I've done 4 transmissions, fluid services, and 4 gear oil. So every 100,000 miles, I change out gear oil. I change out my rear differential fluid. I will say that. But I do definitely get a lot of Chevys. I mean, it's 2 Chevys right here. One just left yesterday. Do I have it out anymore in the parking lot? No, at the moment I don't have any more out in the parking lot other than a Cobalt that came in with some electrical problems. And they, like I said, they're older vehicles. A lot of people are just keeping their cars just because they're unreliable of these new cars. Like, I would say I'm working on a lot more like 2018 and up cars than I would think I would need to be working on versus older cars. And I mean, I have a wide customer base, and yeah, I work on a lot of new stuff. Typically, what I like to do is I'll crank it up and then I'll take the top back off and just make sure that it's shut this door a little bit here. It's awesome. Battery dead. So that's new. Let's check out the condition of this battery. 2021. This is a 3-year battery. So 21, 22, 23, 24. This battery's 4 years old. This battery could just be bad. Let me get a jump box and try to jump this battery off. I might need to go in and replace it. Plus, it's on the small side, too. Get my jump box here. Look, I should have cleaned up a little bit. All right, now let's try this again. We got good power. There we go. I usually turn on the heat, full blast, and let everything get up to warm or hot. I'm basically just checking for leaks, making sure no leaks. And I always pull this back off because sometimes when you crank it up and the pump starts pumping, cooling through everything, it's not hot right now, so it's not gonna spray out. But sometimes air wants to come out, a little few air bubbles will come out. But it makes it so much easier to bleed doing it the way I did it. Not all cars you can do it like that, but a lot of them you can. And the whole premise of trying to get the air out the system, the whole way that cooling systems work is by being under pressure. Water boils at 212 degrees. So if this thing wasn't under pressure, water will boil at 212 degrees. Well, most operating temperatures for engines are about 212 degrees. So it means water boils, the engine would overheat, cause catastrophic damage. But doing it under pressure, at least most of the time the cap will tell you. I don't know what 108 kPAs are, but if I had to like guess, it'll be around 16 psi. So with a cooling system under 15 to 16 psi, some are a little higher than that, some are a little lower than that. Well, water won't boil until 263 degrees, which is well out of the range of it overheating or attempting to overheat. And in line with this, you have a thermostat that's located down in that little black, that black area where the hose comes out at. That thermostat, I think this one is a 180 degree thermostat. So when the engine gets up to 100 or the water gets up to 180 degrees, that thermostat will open up and allow cooler water that's on the backside of that thermostat to rush through the engine and keep the engine cool. Once that water, or once the thermostat feels that the water is back down to 180 degrees, it drops it back down. So that's why it's so important to not have any leaks and for this system to be pressurized. Because if this system wasn't pressurized, a lot of our cars today will not operate properly because of that. All right, so this thing is done. We also got heat on the inside. Another successful job accomplished. I gotta remember the mileage. It's always important to put the mileage on the receipt. Not only let you know what time, and kind of keep track of when stuff was actually done on a car. To give you that time to pretty much keep track of customer stuff, because it's like one of the most important things is keep track of whenever this stuff goes down. That Toyota factory part lasts 130,000 miles before it gave out. It's not bad. It's not bad for a water pump. I just know if your water pump was attached to your timing, it could be some issues, but good thing that one is external. Unlike mine is internal. But usually my water pump gives out about 100,000 miles too, so I would say Toyota, doing a good job. All right, let's go. All right. Go get something to eat. I'm gonna take nothing away from my mama. She usually handles this in the morning for me. But I figure I can do it today. Look, I still got the gloves on. I'm gonna tell you right now, these gloves are expensive. They're really not dirty. Yeah, I'm gonna keep them on. Try to save money where I can. I don't know the last time I ordered something from Chick-fil-A from the actual menu. Usually I use the app. It's a good morning wake up call. That new Kevin Gates. Man, I don't know what this man want to be. I just don't. Like, I don't. That's my dude. Damn it, Randy. God damn it. What's up, Randy?
You know when that security light came on?
Yeah.
That daggone thing's dead.
The actual battery is dead?
It's just dead. I was coming to get the thing to check it, but it won't do anything.
Yeah, it probably died, but it shouldn't have died from that.
Like I said, I don't know if its battery's completely dead. I'm going to get the tester and see if the battery was dead. But it won't come on and nothing comes on.
Well, it's right next to my computer on that table. That little box is.
Okay.
I had to run out and grab something real quick.
All right.
But yeah, it's that little tester's on that box. But I don't know. It hadn't died before, and I didn't leave anything on. I'm pretty sure that depth of turn should have done that though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The theft return light came
Yeah,
on,
it shouldn't have done that.
but it ain't doing nothing now.
All right, but yeah, it's in there. It's right there next to the computer.
Okay.
That box is. At least that's the last time I seen it. What the hell, that's weird. Sound like my brakes. I do get some walk-ins. That's a good friend of mine. He was actually one of my granddaddy's friends, but too. But he's got an RV. Let me use the RV. I got to go to one of my first festivals with that, experience the RV life. So yeah, he can just pull up whenever. I get some other I gave some cars out to some of the mission places around here, and some of those people they'll just pull up as well. So I'm kind of used to it. Even though we're kind of like off the beaten path, to me I feel like my word of mouth business is enough to keep me busy, and it's not necessary for me to be out on like the main strip, because honestly, being on the main strip, the rent is like 3 times as much. And I don't necessarily need 3 times as much exposure either. And don't necessarily mean I would get it, but I try to keep my stars on Google pretty much as high as possible, and just that alone keeps me busy, because I'm getting new customers every week, and a lot of them put faith in reviews, which I mean some should. I've got a couple of. Well, I wouldn't say a couple. It was only like one time I got a review. Somebody reviewed me, and it didn't make any sense. After that Camaro, I stopped taking in older cars. Older cars take a whole lot longer, a lot more difficult to find parts, and just a lot of cons I just don't want to put in my business model. That's not what I do. If you want to get an old school car or something like that, go to somebody that specializes in older cars. Cool with. But that person commented, gave me 1 star because I chose not to work on this old car, which is ridiculous. I feel like you go do a review, it's based off of what product or whatever you actually either purchased or whatever got done. Whatever had happened happens after the fact, after the service was rendered. But I didn't render any services, but yet you give me a 1 star because I don't work on old school cars. So you can't could be upset or be mad at someone because they chose not to, they said no, and they go on there to write a review. That's ridiculous to me. And for the longest time, I let it sit there because people go and read most of the reviews that's on there. They're all, of course, positive and great reviews. And then you get to see this one and let them come up with their own conclusion whether or not I'm worthy enough of working on that car. And obviously I am. And it's just crazy that I don't work on 80s models of cars anymore. Like that one I got in there is like the last one I want to touch. I just don't like fooling with them. I mean, for somebody that does this all the time for those old cars, it kind of expected that. But like, I don't necessarily have time for it. I want to get these modern cars up and running. You get an old school car, you might have it for a year. It's crazy. You probably will have it for a year.